This project was based in the state of Gadaref, Sudan, and examined how environmental factors can influence the transmission of visceral leishmaniasis, also known as Kala-Azar. Endemic regions exist within eastern Africa, with a geographic hotspot in Gadaref. The state experiences fluctuations in incidence each year and has witnessed severe epidemics, including in the recent past.
Yes, if you look, for many years, you will find, you get cycles. It was in the past every 10 years, but now the period is getting shorter, maybe every 3 years.
Though treatment does exist, there is no vaccine to prevent the disease. In Sudan, visceral leishmaniasis is caused by the parasitic protozoa Leishmania donovani and is transmitted by the bite of the female sandfly. The disease causes such symptoms as a weakened immune system, fevers, weight loss, and an enlarged spleen, and when left untreated is 90% fatal. Additionally, the emergence of symptoms varies depending on an individual's immune response, causing the incubation period to be between 2 and 6 months. This makes it difficult to track when transmission is occurring. This project used NASA Earth observations, as well as village-level epidemiological data obtained from Doctors Without Borders and the University of Maryland, to determine connections between the environment and transmission.
So we try to detect environmental and climatic factors that favor the development of sandfly that transmits the leishmaniasis. And for that we use NASA satellite, starting from TRIM, the satellite to monitor and estimate rainfall. Then we use the MODIS sensor at 250 meters to monitor vegetation, and the 1 kilometer land surface temperature. Finally, we look at the wetland product. It's a product developed by NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory, which integrates satellite from AMSRE, pulsar and sea wind in order to follow inundated area that can affect the reproduction of the sandfly.
The methodology for this research included performing a series of cluster analyses on the climatic factors in the IRI data library, and then extracting time series of the climatic data to determine the temporal relationship and look for coinciding patterns with leishmaniasis cases. Likewise, epidemiological data were clustered based on the average number of cases seen per month during peak transmission periods. A trend was observed with the number of cases tending to peak during the months of September through February. This information was used to determine areas of the state that were similar in average numbers of cases per month, and 3 regional clusters were identified. For each cluster, time series were extracted for climatic factors as well as time series of their anomalies. These time series were compared with the leishmaniasis case data. Results of this study suggest that climatic and environmental conditions during March, April, and May can be used to predict transmission of leishmaniasis later in the year. Anomalously high temperatures, low rainfall, and delayed inundation of soils all created favorable conditions for the sandflies and extended their activity window. Environmental factors also played a role, including the presence of certain soil types and forests with acacia and balanites trees, which are thought to be habitats for sandflies.
Hopefully we will develop an early warning system that we can provide to the Ministries of Health in Sudan, also Médecins Sans Frontières, that they will be able to forecast the risk of transmission of leishmaniasis due to the development of the sandfly.
An early warning system will help decision-makers in Gadaref identify and prepare for upcoming epidemics and roll out timely interventions, including treatment in addition to bed nets and light traps for the sandflies.
So we are in a really difficult situation. But I always say one thing: where there is a will, there is a way, and you cannot stop.